Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another Supercoach Insider podcast. My name is Swiz, and as you can see, I'm flying solo tonight as I do my team reveal for the 2022 season. Before we begin, just check us out on all our socials. We're on SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, and you can reach out onto us on Twitter, Supercoach Insider 100, or personally at Swiz26. I'm going to get straight into my team reveal for the season. As I flick over to the other screen for those who are watching on the YouTube. All right, so I'll start off with the midfield because that's where the big Uber premiums are. And as you can see there, I've gone with the big four, McRae, Steele, Miller, and Hill. Really like their scoring potential this year. Uh, the new rules for Steele and Miller with the tackling rule, I think that could definitely help them. And it did show with Miller in that first preseason match where, yeah, he's just an absolute solo beast. We've got McRae still in there as the big guy. Really, the ownership percentage is just massive. And then with some of these fixtures early on, Richmond, North Melbourne, Adelaide, he's got Collingwood, the Suns, West Coast. So I've flirted with having him in and out of my side, but I just can't get over that sort of fixture. So yeah, those big three, and then Neil is just offers so much value. He's the number one midfielder there in Brisbane. So yeah, so I've got those big four locked in. The surprise next will be at M5 as Cripps. Even at times I've looked at going down as far as M3, M4, um, and Cripps really wasn't in there for a long time, but with sort of Carlton's start to the season, with the injury cloud over Walsh, who's now meant to be due back maybe round two, round three anyway, but I still think he looked really good in the preseason. He's over those injuries that have bothered him the last couple of years, and now with the Voss and the way he's coaching, I think Cripps could be offering some great value last year, and I know a few people got burnt from him from the previous season, but yeah, I'm all in at the moment for him. And then you got Matty Rowell there, who's just obviously a man child, absolute beast of a bloke. And round one playing an underman West Coast, I can see him scoring a lot of points and getting off to a great start. So yeah, so that's where that is. Dacos and Ward speak for themselves. The big one there I don't have is Jason Horn-Francis. The big thing for me is I don't like picking a guy who's going to play forward who's listed as a midfielder in our team. Yes, by round 6, 7, he should pick up dual position status, but at the same time, I look at the from probably the next 2 or 3 weeks after that, I'd want to move him on anyway. I know a lot of people got big raps from what he did last year as a junior playing in the seniors, but North Melbourne with their forward line, and then actually quite tough fixture. Yeah, I'm not as huge on him as some of those other guys, especially compared to Dacos and Ward, who have those really good potential, good scoring potential roles. So that's what I've got in the midfield there. Cooper, Stevens, McDonald, and how we know the Eagles been absolutely decimated. So who or how, however we're going to say that, is definitely lining up round one. So he's in at the moment. Those rookies can necessarily change depending who's named, but I feel I had McDonald in since day one and Cooper Stevens, while Geelong have to start blooding some of these young players. So that's what's going on with the midfield. Moving on to defence, we've got Crisp, Short, Whitfield, and Hewitt as the main four. I've had Lloyd in and out, and that's usually who's been swapping with McRae when I did have him out. But in the end of the day, the boys did their top tens the other day. I have Crisp as the number one defender this year, and I've got Short up there as number two. So I think Lloyd will still be top three. But at the moment, Crisp and Short are my go-to players. Whitfield offers so much value, and got the potential to absolutely burn you if you don't have him. And I really like Hewitt's role at the moment, playing midfield, especially while Walsh is out. So $3.99. I think there's a lot of value there for him. Does worry me about not having the fifth primo defender and moving Hewitt down to D5 with the lack of rookies. We know McCartan's been named, but with Hinge still under a bit of an injury cloud, DeConning, we don't know what's going on here, and O'Driscoll still don't have confirmation for him. Yeah, I'm a little worried about that. So Patrick Cripps could be the one that makes room just to fit another either better defender in it, like maybe a Gipkus or I have looked at the option of going McInerney from the Swans, just hopefully taking that Dawson role, but there's still some question marks about that. So that's what I've got at the moment in defence. Would I like more cover back there? Yes. But unfortunately, as a lot of people have found, you can't fit in everybody. Down to the rucks. Now, this is where I'm missing one of the real big dogs in Gawn. Gawn has been in my side most of the pre-season, but yeah, something had to give, and unfortunately, it was him. I do like the potential of Wits, especially the first 4 weeks. Yes, round 2, they're playing Melbourne, which is Maxi Gawn, unfortunately. But West Coast, an undermanned West Coast round 1. And then round 3, they have GWS, which will be either Flynn or Bruce. And round 4 will be Pitternet when they play the Blues. So Wits in his last 25 games, I think 5 of them have been over 140. So I'm banking on Wits hopefully having one of those massive games. Doesn't get a lot of the ball, but does get a lot of hit outs to advantage. And when you've got Miller and Rowell Anderson roving to you, there's a big potential chance for that. Jack Hayes is sitting there with Ryder's injury at the moment with his Achilles. Yeah, I've got him in there. I've seen a few people picking Marshall. I don't mind that either, until we sort of get better word on what's going on with Ryder. But that's going to be the worry if Ryder does come back round 3, round 4. What you do then? But yeah, at 102k, I'm happy to have K sitting there. And now the forward line, and that's pretty standard with Dunkley and Butters. Yeah, I think they're going to be the top 2 in the forward line this year. Butters finally getting that midfield role, looks fit. Dunkley's Dunkley. We saw how he started last year, and he's been named in the centre, so I'm confident with them. I think Canelio is going to probably end up being a keeper, even at 50% midfield forward time as it's touted at the moment. I think he'll be swapping up a bit with Taranto. But at the same time, the guy can find the ball. We know what he can do, and he seems to be over some of those issues he had in the previous couple of years during COVID. At the moment, I've got McGovern, Brody, and Rochelle. McGovern, it looks like he's going to play that intercept role. So I've had him down to Zeri a few times, or Cherry. So depending on what North Melbourne want to do with their rucks situation, I might try to find the cash to get him back in, and that would be through the Cripps move. But for now, I've got more faith in McGovern and his role intercepting marking. Brody's moved over from the Suns. There's obviously question marks with Fife now coming back. I'm going to play some midfield time, but for now, I think Brody's a good option. Definitely a highly touted junior. Just needed the opportunity. We did see in the preseason how easy he can find the ball. And Rochelle, I have also been tempted to fade him because, again, I don't like small forwards, especially in lower teams. But this kid's got a lot of Toby Green about him. He's going to do a lot of tackles. I think in the practice match he had 8 or 9 tackles. Has the potential to kick some goals. And for the Crows, I actually don't really see who else is going to kick a lot of their goals. They've got Thilthorpe, I know Fogarty, probably Tex Walker out for a few weeks because of that indiscretion last season. I think, he's definitely got some good job security in there. And the Crows are sort of targeted this kid as a guns small forward. And at the moment, we've got Baldwin, the bomber, who's replacing Jones, who's out for at least 4 weeks from the Bombers, and then Dixon, who, in a perfect world, I'd like to upgrade, but with all West Coast injuries, I just think he's at 102. Yeah, there's probably some potential there for him to, A, get some early games, and B, maybe get some scoring there. So that's what I've got at the moment. The thing is, as I said, could change if we get some information over the next 48 hours to do with some of these rookies, and it'll be a case of Patrick Cripps down. Still like the idea of Jared Berry. I've been tempted by Caldwell as well, but I Berry more than Horn Francis, or even looking at maybe Rochelle into that midfield to get a bit of a swing. I've also looked at putting McCartan forward as a sort of an F7 and bringing Cherry in. So there's a little bit to play out with that cash. But at the moment, unless there's some big news with rookie's name tomorrow, that's what I'll be going with. So give us a shout out on Twitter, as I said before, Swiz26 or the Supercoach Insider 100, and share us your teams, and we can have a bit of a chat before the season. Just remember, you just need to have your Melbourne and Bulldogs players locked in by tomorrow night, and then Carlton Richmond after that, as the Supercoach doesn't lock out until that final game. Good luck to everybody for this year, and happy Supercoaching. Bye.